who's responsible for what happened out there. What we don't know is why. Something has to be done. What I'm proposing is highly treasonous. If any man chooses to opt out, do it now. From this point forward, we are entering uncharted territory. My orders are, we arrest General Krill for treason against the Republic.
There you have it. That is exactly what has happened just yesterday, last night, on Capitol Hill. Yeah. Actually, really, totally, excuse me for the camera. Totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable at this point. And now, this is the kind of reality that everybody has to live with. There are many Republicans that have been fed into his big chain of lies, I should say. And that's pretty sad. Now, what happened on Capitol Hill was, it was, totally unlawful, I should say. It was against the law. Now, I gotta tell you, what we've seen last night, if those of you that have watched what was happening up there on Capitol Hill, the Trump supporters break into Capitol Hill. They break into the building, seeking to overturn the election results. And they were certifying that they certified that Joe Biden would be elected as the next president. Now, as much as the President of the United States has said lots of time that there was voter fraud, this has been untrue. Many people have said that there was absolutely no voter fraud whatsoever. And you're not gonna, make that decision that there was voter fraud because it never existed in the first place. And if you recall correctly, if you watch those, like, on election day, or, the after elections, if you watched, CNN or MSNBC, you would guess or know, regardless of if you watch Fox News. Fox News is full of misinformation and that stuff, especially Tucker Carlson. But I'm not going to get into that for this video. I'm just getting into, if you've heard CNN and MSNBC say that the elections have gone smoothly and that stuff, and you heard them say, yes, that it has gone smoothly, then you should believe that the election gone very smoothly, that there was absolutely no voter fraud if the election's gone totally fairly and that stuff, and you leave it at that. But no, these Republicans just had to storm Capitol Hill because you've been so let up into Trump's lies about voter fraud that the election's been stolen from him. It wasn't. It is totally fair. Trump didn't win. He lost fair and square. There's no voter fraud for him to complain about. So that stuff. So, I don't even know why you would push the issue. Well, now, thanks to the Trump supporters who stormed Capitol Hill, seeking to overturn the election and that stuff, they were fed with the lies that the election, that there was voter fraud. And the crime that Donald Trump has committed right now, as we've witnessed it, is voter tampering. Now, that is going to be something that you're going to be taken to jail for, because it's a crime to meddle with the U.S. elections, the voting results, and it's a crime to do so. We were on high alert that Russia, Europe, and China were the one that were going to be hacking and meddling with the U.S. elections. It never happened. Look who's the meddler with our elections now. You guessed it. The narcissistic Republican idiot, and his name is Donald J. Trump, who we've had to deal with for at least 4 years already. Now it's almost 4 and half of the first month of 2021. I refuse to recognize that there is voter fraud. If the elections have been said that they were going very well, that there was no interference with the election and that stuff, then that's the fact that I'm going to go with, based on what CNN said. Call me crazy if you want. If you think I'm absolutely lying that there was voter fraud, like you Republicans would think. And that's because, pardon the camera, and that would be because you are fed up with, Trump has fed you with lies continuously, and you refuse to, this is the problem. People refuse to recognize the reality and refuse to accept the facts that voter fraud never even happened in the first place. There could have been a small amount, But overall, there is apparently no voter fraud whatsoever. All 50 states have noticed that there was no voter fraud whatsoever, and that's the fact. That's the reality of it. And if people don't want to realize or recognize the fact that there was no voter fraud and that stuff, totally not my problem. If people just want to get... You have the right to think whatever you want and that stuff. What I'm just saying is... when you start to realize that your opinions aren't the ones that are going to become words, I should say. Like, if you said Donald Trump will win a second term for the election and that stuff, that's an opinion and not a fact. And if that didn't happen, if that never even happened in this election and that stuff, then obviously your opinion was, pretty much wrong. And when he says that there's been voter fraud and that stuff, he feeds you with lies, and then this is what people do. They just go ahead and say, oh, okay, so I'm listening to whatever our U.S. president says, and whether wrong or not, that's what I'm going to go with. That the election's been stolen, or that there's been massive voter fraud and that stuff. I'm just gonna go with it, because I'm just a person that just goes with the flow, you know what I mean? I listen to, whatever somebody says based on my party, and that's what I'm gonna go with. But no, it doesn't work like that. In your freedom of speech and opinions here in the United States, then yeah, you can listen to that. But the fact is, whatever they say, if it doesn't become a reality, then you're the one that's gonna, I don't know, probably have a meltdown or whatever and stuff. But that's exactly what Trump's doing. He's having a big meltdown right now because he thinks there's massive voter fraud. Apparently not the case. Well, he's having a big meltdown, yeah. I'll say that. But there's no voter fraud whatsoever. And that's the people's opinions. If they want to think that, that's okay for them. But that is not the reality. And that is something people need to realize. That when your opinions become opinions and not facts or or whatever. Sometimes when your opinions are wrong, you just gotta face reality and deal with it. And that's the big anxiety that people have. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked what was said here, please comment, like, and subscribe to the channel, Charles Morse, and I will see you all later.